Late start, huh?
All right, here we go. Forget the fancy intro. Let's make sure we're live this time. It happened again. Yes, it did, folks. So I'm going to wait for a confirmation from the chat. And see, I've been wondering why there have been no highlighted things in the chat. And I've been like, huh? Oh, there it is. All right, so.
Are we live?
We're live now. I see us. All righty.
Okay, folks.
We had a great conversation.
Oh, yeah. Y'all, we just had a wonderful conversation for the last 30 minutes. Okay, well, do you want to introduce? It's your show.
Sure. Let's just kick it off real quick.
Take two.
Take two.
I'm sorry you all missed that conversation. Maybe I can pull it from the recording, but this is the new series we're doing, and we're going to try and do it live and not just talk to ourselves. But, of course, I've got my buddy, my pal, and my co-host, Chattanooga Ed, with me from the Chattanooga Ed YouTube channel, in case you didn't know him. And this was an idea he came to me with, and it's something that I had a similar idea in mind, and it's worked out really, really well. And I want you to introduce it and let people know what we're going to be doing.
Okay, guys. We've changed up our normal format. We used to do Saturday Night Live every Saturday. Now we're going to do, what's our show called? Closing up? After hours. After hours. I'm sorry, folks. It was really good what you missed.
It was.
Okay, so
sorry, Rob.
This show is going to be called After Hours. We're going to do it twice a month. Once from my favorite fish store here in Chattanooga at Aquatic Aesthetics with Rob. He's the owner of the shop. He's got a great channel. You guys need to check him out. And maybe we'll have to, if you recorded that first half hour, we'll put it on members only.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
There we go.
Because it was some really great conversation.
All right, we were having a blast, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be hanging with Rob. Is this we're going to try to do it the same weekend every month if we can. So if this is, I don't even know what weekend this is. Is this the second weekend of the month?
Second. This is the second Saturday.
When is the saltwater one going to be normally?
Typically the first Saturday. We are going to, I don't want to tie anything down because, Mike from Fish Tank Barn does saltwater. Maybe he's not available, so we shift it. Maybe you are not available one weekend. Maybe Kenny at Aquatic Marine, which is the other place we're going to be doing it, isn't so. But it's going to be Saturdays. This, instead of having Saturday Night Fever, you're not going to have a show every Saturday night, but we're going to bring you some new things, and we're going to bring you some fun things, and that's, I think, going to be great for you all.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about things in the shop. We'll talk about maybe new fish that came in. We'll talk about new supplies, like we were talking while you guys weren't here about these awesome plant pots. Thank you. And we'll talk about, and then we can also ask Rob stories that that you might write a book about crazy things that happen in the shop. That it's kind of the inside secrets or fun things you tell at Christmas to your family and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing that. It's kind of rough today. Like you already missed the 30 minutes. We've got one camera set up today. We're going to try to set up a second camera so that way we can have like a focus camera to show things closer, or maybe show fish around the shop. We're going to try to work that in. So we're just going to have a lot of fun with it, and we're going to try to grow with it and just keep making it better every time. But one thing we really wanted to talk about today was the Chattanooga first fish swap.
Yes. Wow, what a day.
We had a blast here right in Rob's parking lot. Why don't we ask Rob, who set it up?
The Chattanooga Area Aquatic Society, the new fish group for Chattanooga.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kind of not necessarily new. It's been around for a while. It's just a new name. Brought some more people in, and they really jumped on this and made this a resounding success with the help of you guys too. I mean, you guys brought a lot of people here. You brought some YouTube guys in that also had people following them in. So, in a rough estimate, I would say 250 people came through.
It was awesome, guys. It was a lot of fun. It really was.
Really was.
Is there a way that people can join the club?
Yeah, Facebook is the primary way right now. I don't think they have a website set up yet because I know a lot of people don't like Facebook. I'm one of them, but I have to have it up for my business.
Right.
So, and it's a very good tool for business, and it's free.
It's free. All you have to do is go Chattanooga Area Fish Club.
Chattanooga Area Aquatic Society.
Awesome. Go there. You can sign up. It'll ask you what type of fish you have. I just typed in guppy and I was accepted.
Yep.
And it's that easy. So you guys that are in Montana that don't have a fish club, you guys can just sign up and just join ours. It doesn't cost anything and join the conversation. It's a good time. If you ever want to have a vacation, you could plan it around a swap or something we're doing. We got one of the best aquariums. Nobody talks about the Tennessee Aquarium. It's amazing. It's the biggest saltwater aquarium in the world.
You know, I've got a funny story on that. If you Google Chattanooga Aquarium, the first entry you find is Aquatic Aesthetics.
Oh,
so we get a lot of phone calls once a week asking price of admission. Are you open? That happened a lot COVID time and about this time last year. And of course I'm telling them, oh yeah, we're open. Come on. Well, what's the admission? Oh, we don't charge. Oh, so you know some kids telling mommy and daddy, yeah, they're open, no charge today. Oh, and it took a while for me to figure out what was going on. But it's, of course, the Tennessee Aquarium, not the Chattanooga Aquarium.
Oh, it is the Tennessee.
Yeah, so that's where
I'm a member of
it. Make the mistake. They just put in Chattanooga Aquarium and pick the first number they see.
It's a beautiful one. But we don't want to digress and talk too much about that. Let's go back to the swap. We had a blast.
We did. You all are probably sick of me using this word, but my favorite part was the diversity. I pointed this out earlier on my stream, and you all saw it on Kaler's aquatic streams that he did earlier from the swap. A lot of times you'll go to club swaps, because this was a club swap. You'll go to a club swap, and it's kind of area specific. So certain areas you'll go and it'll be laid out with African cichlids, or you go and it's live bear focused, or maybe it's rainbow fish focused. And those are great when that's your thing, that's your niche, but it's not really inclusive. So today we saw everything from goldfish, plecos, live bears, African cichlids, all sorts of different plants.
Shrimp, danios,
Crags, saltwater.
That's the other thing, is it was inclusive of the saltwater side too, which was really amazing for me, because there seems to have been this divide for many, many years in the hobby between salt and fresh. And so that additional diversity of bringing the saltwater into it was just awesome. Especially for it being a first swap. If I didn't know that it was a first swap, I never would have guessed it, because it was such an amazing event.
Yeah, I'm blown away by it. I don't know if we said it already, but I think anywhere 200, 250 people came through.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's hard to remember what was said because I've said it now 3 times again.
Yes.
And if you guys would have come down, I would have given you a free water or a free pop.
Yeah.
And all the Tennessee Fish Mafia stickers we had. We had all of our different stickers.
Yep.
Susan, the fish mom, she was here. She was giving out her stickers, and Bob Kaler had his stickers.
Yep.
We also had Bobby was here. Yeah. We had the Big Cheese. We had Sean Peck. He was here up until like 20 minutes ago.
Yep.
And who am I missing?
Tiffany White.
Tiffany White. Oh,
Darlene's Tanks, who's in the chat. I saw her talking when I thought we were live.
Let me tell you about Tiffany. Her fish are incredible. She raises angels, and they are just amazing, beautiful angels. She's also given me some wonderful guppies because she needed to make space, and I got lucky that I know her. And so I got some beautiful guppies from her. But Tiffany's just a great person and super cool. And Darlene's awesome too.
Yeah.
She was a surprise, fun surprise, because got to meet somebody new. I like that. And we had a few people that couldn't make it because of things happen. So I can't wait till the next one.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have to at least make it an annual event. Call it a spring fling or a fishy fling. I don't know. So come up with a good name for it and do it every year. Because I really think it went well. The local club, they did a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
Really did. Everybody's so nice.
They are.
There wasn't a schmuck there was not a single schmuck.
No.
That's surprising.
I don't know if I've ever been in a thing where nobody. Well, the one guy annoyed me, but that was a restaurant, so we won't get into that.
That wasn't anybody at the event. So
Yeah, all the fish people were
one.
amazing. The fish people were amazing, and the restaurant guy lost out on a lot of money because we were all going to go there to eat. So
yeah,
but yeah, just a great time. Super cool. I was going to go somewhere with that, and then the fish or the restaurant threw me off.
While you're thinking, normally I wouldn't jump in the middle, but because I'm not going to have the screen to keep track on this setup, before it disappears, I want to say a huge thank you to Matt F. for that $5 super chat. Says this one is for James. I got Ed on Thursday. Buddy, not necessary, but very much appreciated. I thank you for that. It's always great to see you either way. I will say I don't have great visibility on the screen here. So if you don't put @FishRoomFever and it's not highlighted for me, I'm probably not going to be able to read it. If I see it's highlighted, then I'll either pull it up, I'll look at it on my phone, or I'll lean in closer so we can get your questions. If you got questions for Rob or questions about the event, just questions in general.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I wish I could remember what I wanted to say.
We've only said it like 3 times.
It was about no schmucks.
Yeah, no schmucks.
But no, it was an awesome event. I was so glad to see how well it did, especially because it's then encouraging. For a club doing it the first time, if you do something like that and it doesn't have a good turnout, it really can be detrimental. And
it'll make or break a club.
Yeah, and go, well, we're not doing that ever again. Versus they do something like this and they go, this was awesome. We take away from this. We know that this is successful. We know these things worked. Maybe we want to fine tune these things. Maybe we want to add this stuff. So I think it was very helpful from the community to show that support and turnout to the club, and also to you here in the business, to come in and you hosting it in the parking lot. I love when the community shows up to support the clubs and the businesses. So I was so glad for that.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. I remember this is the worst part of the whole thing. James won the grand prize, and we thought he got to pick the prize because he donated a lot. One of our other local fish stores, Fish Mania, they're on the other side of the city. Super great guy, Ethan. I apologize, I don't go there as much. It's just so far away. But really nice guy. So when you come see this guy, go check him out too. But Ethan was here, real nice. So they donated stuff. Other people donated things. And they said, oh, Fish Room Fever won the grand prize. So he goes up there to get his prize. It was everything.
Yes, and I was live streaming when they did the drawing. So
yeah,
there was
absolutely.
Already confusion there. And as soon as I walk up to the table, there's a gentleman, and I'm sorry that I didn't give him proper attention. I was trying to figure out what was going on, but he was like immediately asking how much for the filter that was a part of it.
Eheim.
Canister filter. So I'm like, that's going on. I'm live streaming, talking to you all, which I see several of you that were here during that. And then I'm like, which I picked from these, and they're like, no, it's everything. And I'm just like, okay, are you sure? And it was just.
Yeah, I think next time they're going to shoot put out more prizes.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel bad after the fact because when she said grand prize, I assumed she had already done multiple drawings while I was live. And then I'm like, found out after the fact, wait, everything went to me. And I'm like, that's not fair. I mean, I'm glad I won the stuff, but I would have liked to have spread some of that out had I known. So
next time I'm sure they'll do that.
But I appreciate it.
How many tickets did you buy?
I bought 5 tickets.
I bought 20.
He did.
I'm figuring there's so much stuff here. I'm sure I'll get something.
Yeah. And I just did it. I never win these things, so I look at it as just trying to help the club out. So I was like, here's $5 towards the cause for the club, and then I'm like, Fish Room Fever, what? And the rest.
I was the one that drew the number. Yeah. Since I'm not involved, and They asked me to draw. I reached in the bag, and sure enough.
Well, it was hilarious. Oh, one of the neat things that he got, and I was going to bring one over, but then I realized since we only have one camera, we'll show it next month for sure. These little biotopes. Is that what it's called? It's a biotope that they sell here, and it's. Do you want to explain it?
It's made by Nano Tarif, which is a good buddy of mine here in town. They're little seal, the old type
canning.
Canning jars, filled all the way up with water, a little bit of air, substrate, a little piece of driftwood, a live plant, and 2 shrimp. And you should never need to open it. The shrimp should be able to feed on the mold and algae that builds up. The plant will oxygenate the water, and
they're really cool. It would be ideal to, like, if you had somebody that's working. I always think about if I was working in an office, what I could put on the shelf, a fish tank. But this would be ideal even for a classroom. Anybody that has a desk.
You can't spill it. It's sealed.
It's super cool.
It'll break.
Yeah.
It'd make a neat. Well, the problem with it is a gift is you can't wrap it because you can't shake it.
Correct. It does have substrate in it.
Yeah. But really cool. And we're going to definitely show them off. Maybe I'll even make a little 5-minute video later this week. Come in and pitch them. But we'll show them next month if they're not all sold out.
I'll show one on Thursday because I'm going to show this
guy.
Yeah, he won.
I won one. They were one of the sponsors for the raffle. So for the event. So I won one of those. And
I am going to give him a little bit of a shout out. It's nanotarif.com. He does have his website.
Awesome.
And he donated a lot to the club.
I noticed that because on top of the jar, I don't know exactly what to call it, the bio perfection of life contained, there was also $50 off the purchase from it. So I was like,
he does custom 3D backgrounds.
Yeah, I saw that. Those were awesome. So looking forward to that too.
And I've talked to him before, and he would let us come and interview him sometime.
Yep.
Awesome.
So it'd be kind of neat because I would like to know what type of glazing that I can use that's safe and things like that. Just, I think you guys would probably think it's interesting too. But it was a great day. You guys, if you find out, try to look, see if there's a club somewhere near you, and it's worth driving 2-3 hours. It's a fun day. Sean Peck came an hour and a half. Prestige Aquatics was here. They're from Paducah, Kentucky, and that's about a 5-hour drive, and they're beautiful guppies.
Of course, Susan up from Birmingham along with Darlene.
Yeah, Darlene and Susan drove up. That's probably a couple-hour drive. We had Atlanta people. Yeah. We had a lot of Knoxville people.
Yeah.
Good time, guys. It's worth the trip. It's fun. And I'm not just saying ours. They're all across.
Oh, yeah.
St. Louis had one last weekend. I almost drove to it. Next weekend, Arkansas is having one in not Fairmont, Fairfield. In Fairfield, Arkansas. I already checked it out. It's 10.5 hours. A little too far for me to drive. But one of these days, I'm going to probably do that one. I just enjoy it. And it's just fun talking to people.
It is. It really is. That was one of the best parts, was getting to meet so many new hobbyists and hobbyists that didn't even realize that this community was here. There were people, one person actually said, I felt alone in the hobby here. And then come to find out there's this huge community. So I love that aspect of it as well.
Mm-hmm. And I sold my guppies.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because I had 4 things of guppies left. I gave them to Rob, and then he sold them for more and gave me half his profit. Made more money from Rob giving them free.
Sorry, Regis.
I appreciate it. Well, he should have shown up to the thing. Yeah. Well, and I should have had them in a prettier bag so you could see how gorgeous those fish are, because they are gorgeous fish. But I digress. Yeah. And next time you'll have to have something. He was going to bring something and then decided not to.
Yeah, I've definitely got some things that will be coming in the future. It just wasn't a good time for me to bring stuff. And honestly, I didn't want that distraction. My main goal was to hang out with you all, the fish tubers, talk to the club people, talk to you and hang out, and just be able to have a good time without having to go back and forth to the table or be called over because somebody wanted to, ask about $4 instead of $5 on a bag. Or
did you buy anything?
Like
did you buy stuff?
I got some salt stuff. We have this awesome guy here. He also donated a $25 gift card to that raffle. So that was part of the grand prize, which Mike is questioning. I see that Fish Tank Barn. Thank you for the $5 super chat.
Mike.
Says, I'm requesting a recount for James's winnings. I
don't
don't know if we're
you,
going to do that.
but it's too late.
It's too late.
It's all in my truck right now, locked up.
Sorry about that. But so I actually came in and used that, and I may have a pile of stuff, A, squared away, and B, to come out of tanks after we get done with this. Particularly at the swap, I found some used things. I always love seeing like some of the used stuff and things of that nature that people are ready to get rid of, and I can make use of. Or at least we tell ourselves that, right? Didn't do a whole lot of shopping. I've been trying to cut back just because of reorganizing the fish rooms. I did get some endlers that I have been dying to get for several months now, and I'll show you all those later on. I'm going to save a couple surprises, right? Save a couple things for the members to get a sneak peek at. Jack got quite a few things. Got saltwater, got freshwater, plants, all sorts of good stuff.
Coolest thing I got was from Susan. I bought 2 bags of guppies from the famous Bob Kaler's pink flamingo guppies, I think is what they're called, or pink salmon skin guppies. So I thought that was pretty funny. I got some of Bob's guppies through Susan. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun. Did you buy anything there, or do you own everything?
It's hard for a fish store owner to get excited about buying something related to fish when you can buy it wholesale, but there's a lot of stuff that people had that I can't necessarily buy.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about swaps is there's a lot of stuff that suppliers don't supply.
Exactly. I mean, some of these guppies, these are Class A guppies, in class that, some of these I'm not going to be able to get my hands on, and at least not at the $5 price I sell them at.
Yeah.
And
you can get female and males this way.
Yes. And when I buy guppies, I can buy assorted females and dedicated males, but luck of the draw on the female.
Yep. They don't make it easy on these guys.
Nope.
Well, and you even mentioned there was an item, you can share it if you want to, but you looked and you said, I never thought about selling those.
The socks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Someone was selling used filter socks.
Yeah.
I go through 3 or 4 of those a week.
Wow. I saw those and I was like, yeah, easy to sanitize. I needed more. It's, I'll snag them up while I can at a deal. I don't mind paying retail, but when I see something like
James literally did buy someone's used socks today.
I did. I definitely did.
Yep. And they're smelly and salty still.
They are. And they're sitting in your car, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But, Rob, we were kind of touching on this. It's hard for you to buy stuff. I know you have at least one tank at home. Do you do much at home, or is this your fish room?
This is my main fish room, most certainly. I do have, running right now, 4 tanks, a 47-gallon, a bow front, a 46-gallon corner tank, a 40 breeder, which my wife runs and does all the plants in that
That's
one.
Tammy, and you're awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for what you
Aquatic
do.
Aesthetics there on the
Oh,
on the chat.
she's
I think
awesome.
she's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I saw her several times.
I sat in her chair today.
Oh, and
Thank
then
you.
and then the 125, and that's where I got my Oscars. And I think you guys may have seen that on a different live stream before.
Yeah, I knew about that one for sure. So, that's so you still do it quite a bit at home. Some people
Yes.
don't do anything at home.
Well, I was doing very little up to about 6 months ago. My corner tank, I had hundreds and hundreds of shrimp in there, and 2 puffers, 2 little BB puffers. That was about the time we opened the store. Well, a year later, after just topping off the tank, never fed the tank, never needed to, because the shrimp were sustaining the puffers. But a year later, still had a few shrimp, still had the puffers, and decided, okay, let's bring them down here and put them up for sale. They were very healthy. But yeah, it was hard that first year. I was here 18 hours a day. There's just no getting around that when you're trying to build a store from scratch. You run into issues, and a lot of those issues can't be fixed when you're open. So yeah, that was a big part of it. But now it's relaxed a little, and I'm able to get going again, and got my Oscars back. Fell in love with them again.
That's awesome.
You got to get Oscars. God, water dogs.
And now you've been here for 2 years now?
It'll be 2 years in July.
This place has changed so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just one room almost in a little corner here, and now this whole place, and now he's got another back room. It just, he's doing it right. He's not expanding too fast, just going nice, slow, steady. You know, the steady pace wins the race.
Well, as long as the market will support it, I'll continue to grow. It's kind of hard to determine right now. Most people don't realize, but the fish business has boomed during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any reference as to what a bad year is.
Oh, yeah.
So we just had a good year, but it was also during the climb of a new business. So it could, for me, the numbers could stay the same, or they could drop. I don't know. I'm sure eventually this little boom's gonna, or this bubble, if you call it, will pop.
We're gonna hopefully keep pushing it.
And from what I understand, the last bubble was about 2015. So I mean, they come.
Kind of like the car industry.
Yep,
it's up and down.
Well, in fish keeping in general, the lifespan, if you will, of a new Aquarius is not very long.
No.
And that's one of the things I always try to focus on, is keeping people in the hobby, not going, oh, look, this person's selling their tanks really cheap because they're fed up with it. Going, let's stop it from getting to that point. And keeping people in, because it not only impacts us in the community, but it impacts you with your business, because it's constantly, for the most part, a lot of turnover of new people versus having the people that have.
I find let's say three big things, and then we'll see if you're right or if I'm right. I think number one is box stores just sell to anyone. They just, they don't give good information. So a lot of people fail there, and then they just load them up with chemicals and things. They just keep loading them with more expense. So I think box stores have hurt the hobby. And the greed of box stores, because also the filtration. They want to keep selling you cartridges once a month. They want to do all, I think that's hurt the hobby hard. And another one is greedy independent stores, like not like this, but like your independents. I was
hoping you would point on that.
And like I always give a test when I go into a new store. I ask them a question that I know is wrong, and if they say it's right to sell the fish, I know they're no good. Now, I was telling Ethan about this. He's from the other store. Yep. And he says, please make sure you ask the manager. And I do. I don't ask the brand new kid, because that would be a killer. But at a box store, that's all you got there. I don't even ask box stores. But they're just kids.
And you can't blame them. No. You got to remember, yesterday they were working in reptiles. The day before that, they were in aviary, working with the birds. So, and then they're stocking dog food. They don't get time to learn. And they don't get the encouragement to learn. In some places they do.
There's probably wonderful people out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got some that work in pet stores.
Diego does. Yeah. Well, used to, and he's amazing. I've been, several box stores have asked me to work for them just because I know fish. So you never.
But and I'll tell you another one that really hurts this hobby. is, I mean, and I hate to say your local LFS, but sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of these people are going to agree because I see it from them putting comments, I wish I had a store like Aquatic Aesthetics. Well, I sit there and I wonder, well, why don't you? But then I remember back to stores I've dealt with. I've traveled within 3 hours of Chattanooga in every direction and been to just about every fish store you can. And I run into a lot of owners that are unscrupulous characters.
Yep.
And if you know that about your owner, get out. Don't support that. They're the type person that is going to do everything in their power to try and sell you $1,000 system and then turn their back on you when you need help. And those are the people that hurt this hobby, because the person that just lost $1,000 when on all this turns around, sells it, and he's out.
Well, and that's why I love that, Ed's got you here close to him. I've got Kenny at Aquatic Marine close to me in Knoxville. The fact that we both got lucky to have people nearby like that. Because I've seen, how do I want to phrase this? As a customer, when you hear an employee or a store owner say the words, "I don't know," don't take that as something negative, because we shouldn't have a stigma around if they say, "I don't know, but I can find out for you." That's a positive thing. That's people that aren't just trying to sell you the fish. Same thing. I've seen Kenny do it before. If there's something that customer needs and he doesn't have it, he will refer them down the road to the competitor, and that's a good fish store. Him specifically, he's focused more on saltwater. So when he got into the shop up there, he hired an excellent freshwater staff. But I saw customers get upset with him before because they would happen to grab him and say, "Can you tell me about this freshwater fish?" He said, "Well, I don't know, but let me get so-and-so." People that are really well trained in freshwater. And they go, "What do you mean? You own the place. You should know."
Yeah.
That's just, in my opinion, not fair to you all, because you all are doing the right thing. You're being honest. You're trying to get us legitimate information versus going, "Oh yeah," and selling us a bill of goods. No, you can put that red-tailed cat in a 55-gallon. You're fine. So.
And nobody can be an expert on everything.
No.
And I mean, he gets a ton of knowledge by working with it every day.
Yes,
But,
and you retain it. You think about your career. People, they've got their careers. They do all this stuff all day long. And you remember every little thing from your job if you're doing it right. Well, that's the same thing here. This is my job.
That's depressing. I did 20 years of airbags.
I don't work a day in my life. I love it.
That's awesome.
Find something you love and do it.
Absolutely. I'm going to grab a couple of questions and comments from the chat, because I do want you all to feel included.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Absolutely.
You guys, normally he's looking for his name in the chat. If you want to make sure you get us to notice it, say Chattanooga Ed, because it's on mine.
We're on his laptop on his account. So
like Paul said, so did you sell guppies to buy guppies?
Yeah.
I did. And I wasn't planning on buying any guppies, but I do have 3 empty tanks, so it's all good.
And you had Mrs. Aquatic Aesthetics there saying, "Chattanooga Ed, don't let him fool you. He loved every minute of it."
That's awesome. But so we'll try to hunt down fish room fever questions. Absolutely. But we know normally you say fish room fever and we see it, but this time it's Chattanooga Ed is in orange.
And we're going to work these kinks out going forward. There's always room for us to improve. I think so far, excluding the fact that it didn't go live when it should have, and I'll take responsibility for that. I think it's been going well so far. Moonstone, etc. I appreciate the $5 super chat. It says, "Hi, sweet friends, miss you lurking and cooking. Let us know when dinner's ready. We will be there. We love to eat." Thank you again for that.
While you're reading that stuff, I mean, if you find something to read, but while you're looking, I'm going to do some talking. One thing I love about this store is he's got a lot of accessories to make your tank beautiful. His aquascaping pieces. He's got tons of what's this wood?
That would be Pacific wood.
Pacific. I didn't even know there was such a thing as Pacific wood. Is it a heavy wood that sinks?
It won't sink right away. It takes it about 3 days.
Okay, so you soak
but yeah, it does not take long.
But I mean, I wish I had a secondary camera so I could show you how cool. This one has like 3 points of like where it would hit, which would be really cool for things to go under. This one, you could also just awesome. And he's got like tons of this stuff. And then he's been selling a lot of these things. And these are pots for your plants. And why would somebody want a potted plant?
Well, let's say you're doing a bare bottom tank. There you go. You couldn't have plants before unless they were water column plants. Well, now you get you some gravel, throw that in there, a flourish tab, and plant your plants. And they thrive. They do great.
That's awesome. And would this be your medium or large?
That's the large. This is the small, the single hole. And then there's a one in between that has 2.
And right now, Rob doesn't have a website, but we're hoping to push him to try to do it. You guys can find this. Can you this?
Well, we do have a website, but not a purchase website.
So you guys can either wait and push him to get one, or you guys can go to your local fish stores in California or wherever and try to get this stuff too.
Well, the big thing I'm running into right now before I can do the online sales is I need a supply line. The company I buy from is not the most reliable at just being able to stock my store. So I've got to kind of seek out other avenues. I may not be able to get them at the price I'm paying now, but if I can get them from another source reliably, that may be what I have to do before I can. But I don't want to put something up for sale online that I only have 5 of. 4 of them on the shelf in the store.
Totally makes sense.
Don't increase the demand for something you can't keep up with supply on. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, another cool filter that one thing I love about, I know it's a good fish store if they have sponge filters, because they're selling sponge filters knowing that they're not going to keep selling you a cartridge every month or biomedia or something to stick into it. They know that they're selling you a sponge filter that doesn't cost a bajillion dollars. It's going to keep your tank working good and clean, but they aren't going to keep profiting off it. But they want to do the best, and that's what he does. Good fish stores will sell sponge filters, but he has some really cool sponge filters. These guys have a little media ball in them, and they're a sponge filter. I've never seen anybody else sell these things.
No.
It's worth the trip.
Double barrel like that. I mean, you see them a lot on the YouTube channels, and I've been looking for them, and finally found a source for them, a reliable source at that. But they are by far a wonderful filter. And another thing, if you want to know how good the filter is, look in the store's tanks.
And that's what I was kind of looking on the screen.
Every
to see if you could
one
tell.
of these has one of those.
That's what he's running in all of them.
Yep.
I will say this is going to be a challenge for me on this new series, because I have been sitting here window shopping while we've been talking.
I keep looking at these red shrimp that are just so bright red.
Yeah.
Normally I'm looking at my Bishers the whole time. Oh, so it is a little bit of assembly required. And so I don't want to lose any pieces. Let's see, I'm going to put this on the computer. I know. So it looks pretty standard. Your hose goes in down here, or?
No, it feeds through there and plugs in right there.
Okay. Oh, I see it now. Okay, so it's going to come down, plug in, and then it's going to pull that way. And then he has these little bio ball things go in there, and the water goes. The water's being pulled through the sponge, so you've got the bacteria going through the sponge, but then it's also growing on these things. Now, do these things wiggle or anything? Or?
No, not really.
They just
however,
surface.
the one nice thing about them, like in this tank behind you, they can't see it, and you'd probably hurt your neck trying to look at it. But one of the compartments, I took the biomedia out and put carbon in.
Oh, very nice.
Because I've got a piece of cholla wood that in there that just won't stop. It keeps putting the tannins out. Well, the carbon, if you didn't know, is a wonderful controller for that tannous water. If you want to remove it.
Yeah. Now, is it one of those really pretty cholla woods that you sell?
Not cholla, Mopani.
Oh, Mopani.
I may have said cholla. I meant Mopani.
One of these days, we're going to show you some of this cholla wood because it's the best I've seen anywhere. It is amazing. I've got it in my tanks. One piece makes the tank amazing.
Well, if you can look over James's left shoulder, there is a piece right there in the guppy tank.
Now, do you soak yours first before you put it in? Or?
No, I just throw it in and just let it sink.
Now, you see, I got lots of tannins from the first time I did it. So then what I did was I put them in a 5-gallon bucket and soaked them for a week outside in the backyard. I dumped the water like 3 days, did it again, 3 days. Last day, filled it up, wasn't any tannins, and now they're good to go. Well,
and another thing, if you're buying cholla wood, I learned this the hard way. Look at where the cut is. If it's any thicker than, let's say a 1/4 inch, you don't want to put that in your tank right away. You don't want to put it in your house when you soak it either, because that's the cactus meat on the inside that didn't necessarily get removed. And you talk about a horrible smell as you cure it in water. Now that's just the thick stuff. The thinner wall stuff, not a problem. No smell from it, no problem.
The first day I ever met Rob, I was looking at a giant piece because I wanted some teddy bear cholla. And he said, Ed, you don't want, I don't even know if you knew my name, but he says, you don't want that. It's sticky and nasty when it gets in your tank.
Yep.
And we were sitting looking at stuff right over there before there were tanks all over. And I appreciated that because he wasn't going to sell that, he's not a schmuck.
Yeah.
No, I've still got those pieces. In fact, that was the one that was in my hand when I was talking to the officer.
Yeah.
Somebody was calling you Captain Caveman with that thing. I'm not going to say who, but it was somebody from the club.
So I'm working on keeping up with the @Chattanooga Ed's there and the @Fisher and Fevers here, which is why I'm staring at my phone. So don't think that I'm just playing on there. But Paul Sotero hits a Fisher and Fever. My wife and I were doing yard work this afternoon, and she turns to me and says, "You need to put a goldfish pond in with a waterfall out here." Nice. Congrats, Paul. That is awesome. That's always awesome. A great achievement there. When you get the significant other suggesting the aquatic additions.
He picked well.
Yes. Picked a winner.
Yes, for sure. So, we can talk forever here, but we did it for a half hour before y'all were here. Yeah. But, if anybody has any questions, we'll shoot it. I don't know. We're 12 minutes over 9 o'clock. So I don't know do you want to make it an hour show? Keep whistling when I say.
I leave that to you because you're already hanging out after hours. No pun intended.
I'm on my second wind. I've been here since 8 this morning, so it's not a problem.
We want to do the show generally between 8 to 9.
Right. Yes.
But unfortunately, we had a good time for a half hour without you. So I don't know if we should push to. I keep whistling today. I don't know what that is. Maybe I got a chipped tooth. But if we want to go to 8 or 9:30,
I'm great with that.
Yeah,
if that's
fine with me.
I do have a couple questions I'd like to ask you that are, I guess, what people would call the basic questions, but I always like to know. Mm-hmm. What led you to open a fish store?
All my life, I knew that I wanted to be my own boss, and not all my life, all my adult life.
Right.
And one job, I'd go on deliveries and be have to drive Knoxville and beyond, and on the drive, the whole thing is just my mind churning. What business am I going to do? And who knew the whole time it was right in front of me, my hobby. And me and my wife came across a little bit of a nest egg that made it possible.
That's awesome.
We opened up totally debt free. So we had the ability to do it. And the weird thing is everything just fell into place. I've never experienced anything like this.
Right.
If you see that happening, you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
I know for a fact I'm doing the right thing and that I was meant to do this, and that this store is going to make it. There is no question. Stuff cannot fall in line like it does.
Right. Couldn't have planned it any better.
And I tell you, the magic happens here. It's weird. Someone will call me up looking for something. An hour later, a customer will come over and say, "Hey, I'm breaking down a tank. Will you take this fish?" Well, yeah, I just had someone call me about that.
That is wonderful.
Now, that happened, of all things, with an 18-year-old pacu. Had a guy call me up. He was looking for a large pacu. 10 minutes later, a lady calls. She's looking for a home for an 18-year-old pacu. Now, I didn't touch that one. I said,
Right.
Here, let me give you his number,
Right.
because that one requires a rescue.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and same guy, also looking for, what was it, an alligator car. And one just happened to show up.
Like you said, when
That's
things
crazy.
just fall into place like that, that's where you're supposed to be. And like you mentioned earlier, you never work a day in your life.
No.
So
No.
that's when you're in your passion, it makes all the difference in the world. And it doesn't just help you. I feel like it helps other people. So that's the wonderful part of it.
Well, that's the big part. I wanted to educate people in the hobby. There's over there in the dry goods shelf, I've got all kinds of chemicals up there that you can pour in your tank, and you don't need them. I'm a terrible salesman. I'm
Right.
not going to point you to that counter.
Right.
I'm going to tell you the natural way to do it, which is going to involve you probably going about elbow deep in your tank and doing some work. But naturally, unless it's disease, parasite, something like that, leave those chemicals out of the tank. There's so many ways to do it.
Well, and you keep those, I don't know, this is just my guess, but you stock those because you are going to have people that refuse to listen
Yep.
to that, and they just want the chemical. And that makes perfect sense when you're going to accommodate their need. But if they're going to buy it from somebody, they might as well buy it here. At least you can try and get them the good information before they do that. So,
Well, and the chemicals aren't all bad.
no, they're not.
No,
They're not all right. But
I'm the same way. My whole life, I've been so cheap. I never use Prime or any type of dechlorinator. My whole life, I've used 1 gallon milk jugs to 5-gallon jugs and stuff. Now that I have 60 tanks, I use Prime. But before, I believed in no chemicals. Prime is the only chemical that I'll do. So I totally believe 100% with you there.
Well,
Yep.
Prime, now that's another one that's been a thorn in my side.
Oh, well, let's hear it.
Cycling a tank with turbo start. Now that's one of the things we push here because it'll cycle a tank in 24 hours.
Now, you see, I don't consider that a chemical.
Right. No, it's not. But what we run into is a slow cycle with people that are using Prime.
Oh.
And I think it has to do with the ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate detoxification that it does. And I think it makes it harder for the bacteria to use it.
so you think that molecular bonding in the way that Prime functions is causing an issue with the bacteria?
Yeah, I don't know that for sure. I mean, I can't say that
makes
about
sense.
a product like that.
Right.
But I will tell you, in a period of 1 month of 10 failed cycles with turbo start, all 10 use Prime.
That's good to know.
And the ones that didn't, tank cycled no problem.
I don't think I've ever used Prime to start. I believe in taking your time. If you really want a good tank, I'm the most patient fish guy in the world. I will leave tanks for 3 months, but I don't want the plants to grow. I want everything. So I go real slow, and you'll make it such a better system.
Yeah, your cycle actually needs the ammonia and the nitrite in its natural state to get established. Once you're established, use prime. But get that cycle established and well established before you start using it, in my honest opinion.
Awesome. That was really good. Okay. Did you have any?
You go ahead.
Boy.
I know you've got the pile of goodies going on.
Well, I do. And I've already talked about the goodies.
And I am looking for questions. Please throw them in there. I'm watching for the @Chattanooga Eds or the @Fish Room Fever, either one. We'd be happy to answer those. I know somebody mentioned, they said, go 5 hours. I don't think we're going to be doing that. But that was John Cox. God bless you, John Cox. I saw Sean Peck Tech was in the chat a minute ago. Awesome. It's great hanging out with him earlier.
John was going to come out, but he ended up not being able to. Yeah. Transportation didn't work out for him. But bummer. John is north of us, and I don't know if he's actually from Murfreesboro or in between Murfreesboro and Nashville, but he's one of our Tennessee Fish Mafia, and he's awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, one thing I love to buy at a fish store, and I try to do it from my main fish store the most, but I still will do it to help other fish stores out when I go. Because I every time I visit a fish store, if it's a good fish store, I try to buy something,
Absolutely.
But I try to get frozen food. I mean, like today I'm buying 2 things of bloodworms for my fish. I love the jumbo bloodworms. Kudos to Bob, because I used to use little bloodworms, and the big bloodworms are great for big fish. They're just amazing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, I mean, I'm sure you like selling it, but do you recommend the frozens
highly. Our fish here get a regular rotation. We got bloodworms, then next day maybe brine shrimp. Typically the other 4 to 5 days of the week is going to be bug bites, and probably 2 days a week on brine shrimp. Typically the spirulina brine, because it does help with the color of the fish, and they need the spirulina. That astaxanthin really does them some good. But we rotate food here, so when you take the fish home, they're going to eat. Probably no matter what you feed, they're going to eat it, because they don't just eat one type of food, and that's very important. Your fish need, your favorite word, diversity in their diet. They really got to have that. I forgot that one point I was going to make. Bloodworms, not a regular food, except for maybe bettas. Bloodworms are a very fatty food. Once to twice a week.
I'm every other day
for your fish.
For my big fish, I'm every other day.
Yeah, that's okay. But it will cause fatty tissue around the organs when they're fed on a daily basis with bloodworms. So you do want to definitely rotate those if you are using bloods.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was doing jumbo brine shrimp for a long time, because I used to buy a lot of it for a puffer fish I had, but she passed away. And when I ran out, then Rob got me on Hikari dry predator food, the pellets, the Hikari, and I think they like that better than the bloodworms.
The sinking carnivore pellets. Yeah. Yes, those are wonderful.
Yeah, carnivore and massivore, I absolutely love those.
Yeah,
and I
pound it,
and I can get it I keep it in the 2.2 pound bags.
That's where I get it from.
It's worth buying that way.
I love it. And you all know I'm a huge Extreme fish food fan, but again, diversity. Extreme offers a wide variety of products, but they don't offer everything. You've got Hikari's another great brand. Your frozen foods, things of that nature. Like you said, I'm a very firm believer in mixing it up. even if you took, and everybody could agree this was the best one food that there is, hands down, still wouldn't want to feed that every day because you'd need the mix up in there. There was a question regarding some specificity with the prime and the turbo start. It was the Zen Ginger said, and thank you for helping in the chat and pointing out the super chats. I don't have that screen on this setup, so I asked her to help make sure I didn't miss any. So I appreciate that. But it says, doesn't chlorine kill bacteria too, though? So should you detoxify and leave for a few days and then turbo start?
No, I would recommend just a normal tap water conditioner. It's not the sodium thalamate that is causing the issue that I'm seeing. There is other stuff in prime and you read it on the bottle and it'll say detoxifies ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate.
Yes.
Normal dechlorinator will not do that.
Right.
So that is where I believe the issue comes in.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's the without going into detail, that molecular bonding process is specific to prime. That's not in the other. So great thing there. Now to Ed's point though, could we fill the tank up, let it sit for 3 days, gas off?
Oh yeah.
Back? Okay.
Yeah, fill a bucket up with water in 24 hours. There's no chlorine left. However, you better know your water. Is your water system using chloramine?
Yes.
Chloramine will not off gas.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever had any water that had that.
Yeah, I don't think I've never heard of them using it here.
They didn't use it in Missouri. It's probably somewhere, probably New England areas.
I think Mrs. Fever's picking on me. She may just be sharing some information. She says there's a fish swap in Franklin on June 12th. We won't be anywhere near Franklin because we'll be down Orlando.
Oh, is that during? We'll be going to Aquashella, and I have no idea when the dates are.
I think it's 12th and 13th. It might be 13th and 14th, but I know we won't be in Franklin on the 12th. But if you're in the area, that is another local thing to check out.
Yeah, well, and this week I'm going to study hard to make sure I have a good calendar of events for Thursday night. That was something we used to do all the time. Things are coming back to normal. I stopped doing it because everything was canceled. And I was just telling you guys everything that was going to be canceled. But things are starting to happen again. So I plan on doing that again. Yeah, fish swaps, fish shows. There's going to be the Guppy show up in Murfreesboro this year at the end of August. So we'll be pushing everything. And if you guys, if I don't live in your area, but you guys know the swap, let me know, and I will push it on the show.
Absolutely.
Because there are people that are in Montana, in Colorado, in Arizona, so we will push it. We'll let everybody know where everything's going on because it's fun.
Yeah. And we're here for the community. And I don't know how much we actually do to help those things, but even if we just get a few extra people out there and maybe those people tell one other person, you can make it compound, and we're glad to do it. So since I always screw your name up, I'm going to give you an honorary Pleco name because I love my Pleco. So I'm going to call you L99 from now on. Says, are there any special treats for Medaka rice fish? I just got some and already want to spoil them from time to time.
Read that one more
any
time.
special treats for Medaka rice fish that you would recommend?
Do we own those?
I've only had the Medakas
Okay,
one time. We bought them from a local breeder. I would say probably Daphnia, frozen Daphnia,
That's a good one.
rotifers, typically used in saltwater feed, but not a problem. You can feed anything for saltwater to freshwater fish. Don't go the other way. Freshwater food can be more fatty and cause a problem for saltwater fish. But yeah, rotifers, outstanding. It's even half the size of Daphne.
I actually bought something for my rice fish last week. I bought it's for clownfish fry, and it's a powder.
The SA hatchery diet. Sustainable aquatics. Yep.
Yeah, I liked it, so I bought it. But I feed my rice fish Aquarium co-op fry food and not bloodworms, microworms. you got your 3 types of microworms. Yep. Well, there might be more, but I've got 3 types of microworms. I've got banana, micro, and Walter worms, and they devour that. So that's a treat if you got microworms.
Yep.
So Paul Stero says, prime is essential in my part of the world. Our water comes out of the Cape Fear River and is highly treated. Every time there's a water change, prime goes in with the new water. So I want to, I guess, clarify that we're not discouraging from using prime as part of your regular maintenance and
that's
regimen.
what I use it for.
Exactly. I'm a huge fan of prime. It was just in the specific instance of trying to cycle a new tank
with turbo
start. I use prime in all of my water changes, and ours isn't treated necessarily to that level. But I'm definitely not downing prime in any way, just something that you need to be aware of, that the combination of the two has shown problems. But that was simply it. Yeah.
Turbo Start is a Fritz product, and I was so happy that he sells it because I looked for almost 2 years for Turbo Start. Now I don't need Turbo Start, but I just wanted to try it.
Right.
So I've bought 2 bottles from him so far, and it's just fun, to be able to do it. But it's like live bacteria.
Yep. Yeah. One of the first probably one of the first YouTube videos I put up was actually, I think, this tank right here. We cycled it. These 2. Or no, there was 2 tanks up here. We cycled them in 24 hours on a YouTube video showing, add everything that was added to the tank. I was fully expecting it to take 48 hours. I came in the next day, tested the water, no ammonia, no nitrite,
so cool.
15
really
nitrate.
Cool.
And the funny thing is, so you see these ammonia badges hanging here. I put them in every time I start up a new tank. I think we probably moved them over here to the inler system.
Oh, there's 2 over on this side too. I like these albino plecos.
Oh yeah. But I started that tank out immediately. That next day I put in 50 guppies in a 20-gallon tank. Yeah, that's store level keeping. You don't want to do that at home. But
don't look at me.
It says I do it all the time.
Come on,
but not a single ammonia spike on a brand new cycled tank, full load. And you can cycle a tank to that level. You just have to get enough bacteria established. So my customers, they come to me, and based on what kind of stocking level they're going to do is how much ammonia I give them. I go ahead and give them the ammonia with the Turbo Start, let them cycle the tank fishless. And if they're just doing a light load, it's probably 1 drop per gallon. If they're doing a heavy load like this, 4 drops per gallon. And then right away, you can fully load a tank. The old days of buy a fish, wait a week, buy a couple fish, wait a week. Those are over with Turbo Start if you do it right. But you've got to do that one part of getting the right amount of ammonia.
Back in the early 80s, how we did it was we bought 2 fish to cycle it.
Yep, the sacrificial fish.
Yeah. But sometimes they make it, but yeah.
There's all kinds of methods. The phantom feeding, the shrimp from the freezer. That's a good one. Just throw it in the tank, let it rot.
Wow, I've never done that.
Yeah, that one works very well, actually. Provides plenty of ammonia.
I've done that in a couple of my larger scale setups before in the past. Just throw that 1 raw shrimp in there. And one of the times I set up the 220 years ago, I did that method. I've never done the urinating in the tank method before, but I've heard of some people doing it. I mean, to each their own, I suppose.
Number 2 is the latest one going around on the web.
All right.
Don't do that.
Please don't do that.
Well, it gives your frog something to help on.
Well, it is 9:33, and I don't want to hold you up any longer.
I still got to catch fish for you guys.
Yeah, we've got stuff to buy still.
Was there any questions really quick? Because I don't want to miss just one. Let's just see if we hunt 1 or 2.
I've tried to catch everything since we figured out the tech stuff. I still do it with feeder goldfish. Yeah, that was a very common thing, and it still is. Buy a feeder goldfish and use that as your sacrificial fish in there for cycling. That's something we could probably talk about one of these days on one of these episodes.
If it makes it, what do you do with the fish? Yep. And all now, you being a saltwater guy, what's the biggest curse for a coral tank that everybody hates having? Is that damsel?
Yes. Good luck catching that sucker, and it's meaner than snot. That's what a lot of people see the damsels, and they're pretty fish, and they're fairly cheap, and they go.
And they're very hardy. They'll cycle a tank.
They are, and so they go with that, and I go. You really don't want to have to try and catch that sucker, or B, have your really nice expensive fish down the road getting beat up by these things. So yeah, that is. Definitely. I always compare the damsels in saltwater to the convict cichlid of freshwater.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. No, I would put them at, as far as aggression, right there with a pea puffer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try to maybe buy a monitor or something so I can actually read what people are saying, or actually see who's there.
I could get you a little Frenzel lens to set in front of there. Magnify.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not a bad idea. Again, we've got a lot of great people here. Oh, I'll start saying hi to everybody, and that'll take another 20 minutes, so I won't do it. Well, Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, mods. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Very much appreciate it. Sorry.
Rob, thanks for letting us hang out with you.
Absolutely. I look forward to it happening again.
Yeah, this was a blast. The whole day was a blast.
It really was.
The swap was great. Thank you, Chattanooga Club, for hosting the swap for us to have a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean Peck, for spending the last 4 or 5 hours with us playing games in the parking lot.
That was a blast.
It was hilarious. We left our table up while everybody else is gone, and we're playing games in the parking lot. And he's getting customers, and they're like looking at us, and I'm like, hi.
Right in front of the front door.
Yeah.
Board games spread out on the table.
That's pretty funny. Might have to do that more often. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, it really was.
But yeah, thank you, everybody. Your show.
Absolutely.
I'll let you do the final words.
Well, any final things? I know you've got. Well, you tell us what you want. The YouTube channel. Any?
Oh yeah, I've got YouTube. We're on Facebook as well. We've got a website, aquatic-aesthetics.com. All it is just a title page that's going to link you to Facebook or YouTube. But those are our primary points of access to social media and getting to people. I don't do the Twitter and the TikTok.
Right. I don't blame you.
There's a lot of stuff when it comes to social media. It's part of what you guys do.
Right.
So you kind of get an idea. You add an 80-hour-a-week job on top of that.
Absolutely.
On running a business. But it really is critical to involve that stuff.
Definitely. And I think that it's great that people like you and Kenny and other fish stores, local fish stores, have acknowledged that, because there really was a disconnect for a long time between the physical fish stores and the old hobby and the social media, the YouTube, the Facebook. There's still a lot of that on the higher commercial scale, but it's great that local fish stores, you're willing to do this with us. I mean, even just something like this, it used to be.
Well, I'd be a fool not to.
We don't care about you, Twitter, whatever. We've got a business here. I do tell people, though, you always like to say it's near Chattanooga. So it's Aquatic Aesthetics near Chattanooga. You're technically in Hickson.
It is in Hickson, Tennessee.
Which is a suburb.
Yeah, which was 10, 12 years ago annexed by the city of Chattanooga.
Yeah.
So it's Chattanooga.
Right.
It's just, this city has a wonderful barrier, and you run into that too, called the Tennessee River.
Yes.
And it's just people that live on the north side don't want to cross to the south side, and vice versa. It's the oddest thing. There's bridges, guys.
Yeah.
You don't have to take a ferry no more.
Be careful, though. My sister broke her elbow on one of the bridges last week.
Oh, no.
Well, and
I'll tell you about that afterwards.
I also want to say, go check out, his YouTube channel. You'll see a lot more. But just what you see behind us is amazing. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
of his overall store. So
it's all over.
I encourage you to come on down, check it out.
Can I say one thing?
Go right ahead.
Everybody in the Midwest, when you're in the Midwest and you're taking your family to Orlando, to Disneyland, you have to drive through Chattanooga.
Yep.
The mountains funnel you. So if your wife or your husband, whoever is taking the family down, and you're going back home, stop by here and pick up some fish. It's awesome because seriously, we are on the way to the south or to the Florida. So everybody in the Midwest comes through Chattanooga. Chattanooga is a fun town also, just a bit. We're kind of a vacation town, but I don't want to digress there. But you come through this way, and people from the south goes through this way to go north.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a funnel, or not a funnel, an hourglass. The highway goes right through Chattanooga.
It's a hub.
Yeah. So
it's why Chattanooga Choo Choo. Everybody's heard of that, and it's a geographical hub of how everything meets. All the valleys kind of meet right here in Chattanooga.
So now you know if you're coming through, you got a place to stop here and check it out.
Oh yeah, you need to stop. You'll appreciate stopping. I promise you.
Absolutely. Well, again, Rob, thank you.
Yes.
Ed, as always, thank you. I appreciate you, buddy. Everybody out there, appreciate you all. We got 82 people here right now and 60 some odd thumbs up. You all are amazing.
Awesome.
Baby, love you. See you soon.
Yep, I see her in the chat there. All the super chatters, really appreciate you all. Sorry, we're getting the things worked out, and we'll continue to improve. But as always, the members, the moderators, the lurkers, the listeners, the super chatters and contributors, and of course, you awesome people on the replay crew. I love you guys. Till next time, keep your fish healthy, keep yourselves healthy, but don't be afraid to catch yourself a little fish room fever. Take care, everybody.